Alright, so now it's time for us to take a look at some of the assignment types that we have available here. One thing to keep in mind is that at MedTech, they've worked very closely with McGraw-Hill to create assignments that map directly to the outcomes for your courses. So as an instructor for Connect at MedTech, you're going to have a very limited capability to make changes to any of the assignments. So really the only thing that you're going to be allowed to change is the dates that the assignments are due. We also give you the capability to add your own assignments if you'd like to do that, and we'll go over that at the end. Okay, the other thing I'll point out is, though we're taking a look at HS 101 in this demo, the look, feel, and functionality of the assignments in Connect are very similar. So if you're familiar with these assignment types and the functionality, it's not going to be too much of a leap for you to carry this over to another course that's using Connect. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into week 1. We've got everything broken out by folders for this particular course, and it looks like we've got 4 chapters worth of material in the first week for this particular course. If we scroll down, you'll see that we've got the paperclip, which denotes that we've got a file attachment type of assignment, and I'll go over what that means. You see the LS, and that means we've got a Learn Smart assignment, which is our adaptive technology, and we've actually got a separate video for that. If you see the notebook, that means that you've got a straight up homework assignment. So we've got various parameters set for the homework assignment. I think that there are unlimited attempts and the students have access to extra resources. So if you want to know exactly what the policy settings are for your homework, you can always go to section overview and take a look at that. Then we've got week 1 quizzes. These are notated by the A+ paper next to the assignment. Okay, and that's going to be more limited. I think the students only get 1 try at those assignments, and we'll take a look at that momentarily as well. Okay, so if I go to the top and we click on Lesson Presentations, you're going to see that we have attached the PowerPoints for each of the first 4 chapters. Your students can come into this assignment, they'll simply click on a chapter, and they're allowed to download the chapter's PowerPoints rather, directly to their portable storage device or computer. Right? So this is just going to walk them through and give them notes on what's important to study as they work through the chapter. Alright, go back to the section home page and open up week 1's folder again. And next up we've got the Learn Smart assignments, which we'll cover in the next video. But let's hop into a couple of the various assignment types that we've got here, and we'll go into the homework first. So if I open up chapter 1, end of chapter exercises, it's going to give me the instructor view of the assignment. And what that means is I've got a couple of different options here. I can look at the assignment activity, which actually gives me a lot of great information. I can see the student progress. So in this demo I only have 1 student that's enrolled in the course, so you can see that my 1 student has submitted the assignment. If I had students that had not started or that were in progress, that would be notated here as well. If I want to go directly into the assignment results for the class on this assignment, I can click Assignment Results. And I can also see assignment statistics from here, so I can get the mean, the highest, lowest scores for each of the assignments here. Right, so that's point and click. Another nice feature that you've got available to you on this Student Activity tab is you can actually open up the Student Assignment view. This is useful if you want to see exactly what this is going to look like for your students. So I come in and it's going to give me my instructions. It tells me that there's no due date on this assignment. It's also going to tell me that I've got unlimited assignment attempts, so I say OK. I come in and I can start completing work on the assignment. So you'll see that it's pretty straightforward. I've got a bunch of true-false questions, and I'm going to answer them. And I'll scroll to the top, and you can see that it says that in my first section I've got 1 through 7 out of 10. So that means in order to get to the remaining 3 questions, I can either use the drop-down menu to go over to the next set of questions, or, let me go back, I can click the Next tab to go to the next set of questions. Okay? Alright, and I'll answer these. And I will actually leave the last question blank on purpose. Right, so I'm going to click Submit Assignment so that you can see one of the built-in safety features we've got for your students. Alright, it says, wait, you've not completed all these questions. So it lets your students know if they're submitting incomplete assignments, and it actually tells them exactly where the assignment question that they need to complete is. So it tells me it's question 10. I click on this, and it's going to take me in, circle it in red, and let me know that I need to come in and complete this. So before I actually submit, I want to point out a couple of other features. Since this is homework and it's kind of the lower stakes material for the students, they've actually got the option to check their work here. So we'll let them see if they're right or not. It's going to tell me I'm not right. They've got references that they can use. And then they've also got the ebook and resources. Okay, so a lot of options here, and they can also print any of these assignments off. Right, so as an instructor, I can either click close and return to Instructor View, or if I want to see how I did on this, you're just testing your skill before you unleash this assignment on the students, then you can submit the assignment, you click submit, and just as your students will get, you get some instant feedback. So it's going to tell you exactly what you did right, what you did wrong. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to close and return to the Instructor View. Alright, so let's work through these other three tabs. Next up, you've got Preview. Preview is going to show you what the assignment looks like, but the nice feature is it gives you the answer because you are the instructor. So it's a great way for you to see in a quick glance what your students are going to be covering. So if we go to the Policies section, this is going to show you the policies for this particular assignment. Now, it says view and edit policies right here, but keep in mind that since this is a master course that we're sharing and limiting access for the ability to make changes, you're not going to actually be able to change anything in here except for the start and due dates. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and I'm actually going to show you a quick way to change the start and due dates a little later on, so hold tight for that. But if you ever had any questions about any of the nuances for this assignment, you could come in and take a look, and you get very detailed information. Message history is going to be for students that report a content issue or have a problem answering the question. They've actually got the option to report content issues, and I'll show you that in my next when I open up the next assignment, so you can see where they would do that. So I'm going to go back to the Student Activity tab, and the one thing that I want to show you that you might find useful is in this drop-down list, there's an option that says Manage Extensions. Okay, so let's say, let me click on it. Let's say that we've got a student that for some reason needed an extension. You could then come in here and manage this. So if they didn't submit something on time, or some extenuating circumstance kept them from being able to hit a due date, you can always come in, edit the due date, or change the number of attempts when that's an option, and it depends on the assignment type. And then you would just click save, and it would update the information for that particular student. Okay, so let's go back out to the home page. I'm going to open up week 1, and we'll take a look at just a couple more assignment types. So next up, I've got interactive exercises. Once again, this one's done. The main thing that I want to show you is the student side. And you're going to see that though this is a different type of assignment, this is mostly drag and drop, it's pretty similar in look, feel, and function. So this is going back to what I was saying at the beginning. Everything kind of functions in the same manner. So your students got a bunch of drag and drop exercises here. All right, and they can either toggle down with the drop down or click next to go to the next portion and complete their assignments. At the bottom, I do want to point out that that message history, this is where that falls in. So if I click report a content issue, they've got the option to fill in what they think's wrong with this question and submit it, and it goes directly into our database. If they're having a technical issue, they can click on the contact customer support window, and this will send a note directly to the customer support team and let them know what the student was struggling with. All right, so let me close this out. And I'll go back to the home page, and the last assignment type that I'm going to touch on is the quiz. And the main reason that I'm going to show you this is because it's a little different, similar look, feel, functionality, but it's a little more regimented. So if I try this in Student View, it says I've got one assignment attempt, so one and done. That means these are higher stakes. Also, you'll note that I don't have a lot of resources. There's no link to the ebook. I'm not able to print. There's nothing in here that allows me to check my answer. So this is going to put the student on the spot to test their knowledge and quiz them on what they've covered in week 1. Okay, and the student would just submit, but I'm going to close out. Okay, so now let's talk about managing the dates for these assignments. With the lesson presentations, I think that leaving no start and no due date for them is probably a good idea. For the Learn Smart assignments, we'll cover how you should handle the due dates for them in the separate video. But for all the homework assignments, I think it's probably a good idea to at least set a due date. And for the quizzes, I think it's a really good idea to set a start and a due date, and we'll get into why. So in order to set due dates for all of the various homeworks, I'm going to select the check boxes to the right hand side for all of my homeworks for week 1. Then I'll click Manage Dates. Alright, and it's going to ask me what I'd like to do. I'm going to say that I'd like to change the dates, and I just want to touch on the due dates. I'm going to make these due on the 24th of January 2014 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. If I click Save, it will go through, and it now has updated all my due dates. So when I open up this folder, every single one of these assignments is now due on the 24th. Alright, so while it's a good idea to set due dates for the homework, I don't think that setting a start date is necessarily crucial unless you want to limit your students' ability to work ahead. So let's go ahead and open up week 2 because I'm looking for a quiz or an exam that hasn't been started by my demo student. So I see that there's a midterm exam. You probably wouldn't want your students working ahead and starting this. So if we select the midterm exam and we click Manage Date, we can set a start date, and let's say that we want to make this unavailable if it's going to be due on the 31st. Let's say this is unavailable until the 30th, and we'll make it due on the 31st. And you can actually come in and set the correct time parameters. I'm going to leave these as such for now. Alright, so now if I go into my student view and I open up week 2 and I take a look at that midterm exam, it's blacked out because I'm not allowed to start it until the 30th at 11:40 a.m. and it only gives me 1 day to complete this. So this is a great way to limit your students' ability to work ahead and keep them on task and focusing on what they should be learning in each of the weekly folders.